here.
What's up, everybody? It's your favorite war hero's favorite nerd.
Skull Rogers reporting in my token 1940s I have a hard life and I'm from the mean streets of Brooklyn, wife beater, sir.
Today we are looking at the Mezco 112th Captain America. This is the more modern Captain America without the ears on the side of his head, with them painted on the helmet and such. This is on loan to me from Todd R, and we have a bit of a Facebook chat from time to time, and he got this guy and asked me if I would be interested in taking a look at it, and I said absolutely. So he sent it to me. So let's get going on this unit, and we'll talk about the accessories straight away. So he comes with this display base, and as you can see, it looks pretty nice with the shield on there and everything, very themed, and I dig that. It's as you saw, his foot pegs into this peg here, and then all the paint on it is done very, very crisply. This peg right here, it is removable, and we'll go ahead and do that. And you can connect this armature and then have him, posed on that if you'd like, which is cool. The armature itself is nice. We'll open that up for a second. It hinges here, 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 and then it swivels here at this connection, and then of course the clamps clamp down. So a pretty nice display base. Accessory wise, he comes with a ton of stuff, but we'll talk about these grenades first. He comes with 2 of them, and they have a nice silver paint on the handle, which I have a hard time holding on to, and then the nice flat black for the rest of the grenade. Let's see if I can't get that to focus a bit better for you. There. And I dropped it. He does hold them and carry them quite well. The hands are nice because they're soft, pliable plastic, so you can open up the hand to kind of wedge the grenade in, and then it's no problem. And then you can also clip it onto the back of his belt. And once you wedge it down in there, so to speak, you should be fine. And he comes with a knife, silver paint on the blade, and otherwise it's black sculpted plastic, and that's cool. This also integrates. He can hold it in his hand. It's not the best connection, but it shouldn't fall out. Like you got to shake it around a fair bit to get it to go out of the hand, and then it can also slide in here, and no problems there. He also comes with a canteen, which is pretty nice, actually. It's a brown plastic, and then it has a darker brown wash on it, and then it has the 2 silver paint accents, and then the black paint on the top. And it's really well done. This one, the integration of it is fine, but I'll show you the problems with it. So he can hold it, no problem. I'm not sure if this is an accessory you would ever want Captain America holding in a display purpose. And then you can also store it. The only problem is you have to remove this piece, and then it has a small peg here, and you peg it on, but it does peg. I'm just there. But then the problem is that you have this one, that you can't do anything with. It would have been nice if you could have kind of had it all armored up instead of having to keep something in the box. He then comes with this alternate head, which is relatively nice. There's an issue with it, and I'll talk about it. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. The eyes are painted well. The lips are painted well. There is like a freckle effect on the face, or maybe it's dirt. I'm not sure. It's really well done. The hair is sculpted well. There's no wash or anything on the hair, so that's a bit of a bummer. But overall, it is nice. The problem is there's, I don't know, and maybe you feel differently, but it feels like to me like the hair sculpt goes a little bit closer to the ears on both. And then this is sort of an unnatural kind of hairline here. But it's a small nitpick, but it is something that I found a little bit weird when I was looking at it. It just seemed like there was too much head around that ear that wasn't painted. But otherwise, a very decent head sculpt. You just pop this one off, and then you can get a look at that double ball peg in there, and pop this one on, and you're good to go. And then lastly, he gets his signature shield, which is nice. It's a nice red metallic almost. Like, it's a very glossy finish. It looks good. The blue doesn't quite look right. The blue and white look very, the red and white look very vibrant, but the blue looks a little too dull. And then on the back, it's just this silver finish. This is a magnet, and then this is the handle. It's pretty cool. There's a magnet here on this pouch, here on this pouch, and then here on the back. So you can have it on his back with no problem. You can have it on his forearm and he doesn't even really need to hold it. Or you can have it on this forearm, and once you do, focus, you just wrap this piece around and have him hold it, and he's good to go. And then, of course, lastly, you can have him holding the shield as if he's throwing it. It's just done by keeping tension, by wedging the shield between the thumb and hands. It's not the best connection, but posed on a shelf, it should be fine. And then hands-wise, he comes with a left and right shield throwing hand, left and right relaxed hands, left and right holding hands, and then we have some novelty ones, which you know are my favorite. So he has a left hand thumbs up, he has a right hand saluting hand, and then he has a right hand pointing hand. And just to talk about the detailings on this, and they're the same on all of them. We just have the brown paint on the red plastic. The red plastic has a brown wash or a dark, I think it's a brown wash. We'll pick up the next one. And all this stuff like the texturing of the glove is all sculpted. So the wrinkles are sculpted, the seam work is sculpted, the little patchwork and design wise, all that stuff is sculpted. So good stuff. And at last, we can talk about the figure. So the head, detailings wise, you have the A, which is done on there really well. All the face paint is done well. The differentiation between the lips and skin tone, the eyes are all painted extremely well. There's a slight gray kind of barrier between the mask and the flesh, like a padding between the two, and that's painted gray, and that looks nice. The wings are painted extremely well on the side of the helmet, and the helmet is well sculpted. So all that stuff looks good. As we saw, it's on a double ball peg, and then the neck is also on at least a single. It might just be a hinge. Nope, it's a ball peg. So articulation-wise, you get up to there, down to there, and then the swivel and side to side, no problem, which is good. Moving down, we have the chest. Now, this is a soft goods figure, and you know that's not my favorite sort of ball of wax. Here's the problems. If you look at the seam work, for me, this is just a me thing. If you look at the seam work where the neck stitching is and how large that has to be, because, you know, we're working with human hands, and then the seam work where the chest is, it kind of how this white gets into the red there, that's irritating to me. All that stuff, you know, it's just disproportionate. Like seams on a real shirt wouldn't be that big. It's just that whole kind of thing ends up making it seem like he's wearing his I don't know, his pajamas his aunt that he never liked got him for Christmas. But, you know, it's definitely a thing that plagues me in terms of liking this. I also don't like how it's like one suit, like he's wearing a pajama onesie. That's just not for me either, just stylistically. Let's see though. Articulation wise, we have a double ball peg in the abdomen and then a single from the abdomen into the pelvis. So the articulation is great. You get down to there, back to there, the swivel all the way to an appropriate anatomic level, and then the side to side teapot. So it all works really well articulation wise. It's just the soft goods over top that I just don't care for. Now these little pads here that are done throughout, they look really good. Like it gives it just a little bit of added texture, and it really helps bring it to life. This piece over top with the magnet in it is a softer plastic, and that looks good. It's even sculpted in a way where it sits naturally in the collarbone recess, so it gives it like a weighted look. So that was done really well. I do dig that. The arms are kind of the same problem. We have that stitching between the white and the blue that looks off to me, and then we have the sculpted red plastic over top, which is then washed with the brown, and then sculpted armbands on top of that with the magnet inside, which are then painted brown and then washed brown. So that's all done really well. Shoulder wise, it's hard to tell. It feels like a disc hinge in the shoulder going to a ball peg inside the chest, not unlike an SH Figuarts, which gets you the arm up all the way to there, which is nice. And you can even use a little bit of a butterfly joint there, which is nice, and then the swivel all the way up to about there. Bicep swivel at the shoulder. Double jointed elbow, which gets you a little bit past 90 degrees. And then we have a ball hinge wrist, so you get in and out, and then you can swivel it and get up and down. And you just got to swivel the hand around the ball hinge, which is a little tricky, but it can be done to get the up and down. So no problems there. Same for the other side. Then we have the belt, which is nice. It's a floating piece of plastic, and it's well painted. The blue is painted, the browns are washed, the silver is painted, and then the silver buckles are all painted around it, and that looks good. And then we have the breeches, which always just seem a bit silly to me on these soft goods figures, but especially on the 1/12 scale. You know, it just, something about that just looks very strange to me. Anyway, it seems like they are... It almost seems like it's a universal style joint. I can't really tell. But you get the leg to about there. Outward, no problem. The thigh swivel is built in. It's a limited range, but I'm okay with that. Double jointed knee, which gets you a little bit past 90 degrees. And then an ankle swivel, ankle tilt. And it's a ball joint, so it's a ball peg, so it's a limited rocker, but you can get it. The boots are ridiculous. Like, they're so well sculpted. See if I can bring that out for you. Like, all the little seam work is sculpted, all the buckles are sculpted, all the laces are sculpted, and then everything is painted with a really nice finish, and it looks absolutely jaw-droppingly amazing. The only thing that gets a little wishy-washy is where they painted the laces. There's like this... they're brown laces, and it's going over top of red plastic, and there's just some places where it doesn't look like they finished the brown paint. Like, it looked like it could have used another coat. But otherwise, the sculpt work there is just amazing, and most of the paint finish is incredible. So that's really well done. And that is basically this guy in a nutshell, and I'll give you a quick look at the back of that unit. Size comparison wise, there he is with a Marvel Legend and an SH Figuarts. So definitely more in line with the Marvel Legend sort of... size of the 1/12 take, a little bit too big for the SH Figuarts in that regard, but definitely a bit better proportioned overall than a Legend. Final thoughts wise, the negatives are really a lot of my hang-ups with the soft goods, especially the soft goods in this scale. I will say the stitch work in the pants is a lot more believable than the stitch work in the upper body. Other than that, I think the paint on the hair of the Steve Rogers face could have been tightened up, and I think we could have had a little bit more ankle articulation, which would allow a little bit more of a dynamic pose. Even in this position, like if you could have gotten his foot back a little bit more, it would have just looked more believable. And outside of that, those are my only real complaints. The sculpt is cool with the stuff that is sculpted, like the boots and the gloves. It's beautiful. I would love to see them do like just a fully sculpted figure. That would be right up my alley. The accessories are great. They're integrated. They're interchangeable. They're fun. It allows for a ton of options, both in posing and picture taking, whatever you want to do. There's a lot here. The head sculpts are cool. The paint on the faces are great. It's just, there's a lot of love here. I love the display stage. I love a lot about this. I can't personally buy into it because the soft goods just make it seem a little bit strange to me for whatever reason. But I'm interested. I'm definitely interested to see what they do in the future, and I'm curious to see if they end up doing any of like the more metallic figures, like an Iron Man and stuff like that. Like, I might be interested in taking a look at those, maybe even buying one. But I think that overall it's a really good effort, and if the soft goods doesn't bother you, I strongly recommend this because it's a solid figure. I think it's the same one as the SDCC one for the most part. It's just like a different head sculpt and some different colors, and but I think like the basic buck of it is still the same. I hope that helps, and thanks again to Todd for letting me take a look at it. And other than that, thanks for listening, thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.